Hey, it's Black Vader, or I am Michael once more with another video with Neely Fuller. The Code, Information and Guide for Compensatory Thought, Speech, and/or Action. Right now, I'm reading from page 59, Area 1, Economics. This part of the series covers a lot, so I think I'm just gonna go with the what they say, the chapter portions of it. I want the footnotes, I guess, of each portion, and just see how much I can read, and just let y'all have it in a title or whatever, and then we'll just move forward from there. So I'm just gonna start. Let me get this stuff ready. So, and also like, comment, subscribe. Please get the book at producejustice.com. And thank you guys for being here once more and allowing me to be in a part of you guys' lives. And every second you listen to me, you could possibly be doing something else. So I appreciate it so much, and I appreciate the love and the respect I get from you guys individually. Either it's one person, two people, as long as I'm doing something productive and constructive, I'm better than what the white supremacists or the system wants me to be a part of. So I appreciate you guys so much, and here we go. The following pages present suggestions that pertain to what a victim of racism gets light. Non-white person should or should not choose to do in the first major area of people activity. Each person should choose to speak and or act according to one or more suggestions presented, but only if he or she decides to do so. Oh yeah, also happy Black History Month. I know we don't say it enough, but it's important. So I appreciate everyone for being here, and even though I'm really about the no contact, no conflict type of shit, I appreciate all of us just being here and surviving through and thriving through, this system of what these racist white supremacists has put us through in this world. And I appreciate that we're all just still moving and trying our best in the system. So yeah. Each person should choose to speak and or act according to one or more suggestions presented, but only if he or she decides to do so. No person should speak and or act according to any suggestion presented wherein he or she has judged that the suggestion chosen is of current and or correct value in helping to eliminate racism, white supremacy, and or in helping to better produce justice. It is important to know and understand that one or more suggestions selected from one major area of people activity should be used in constructive combination with one or more suggestions selected from other major areas of people activity. If an individual person chooses to utilize any suggestions presented herein, he or she should do so in a manner at a specific time, at a specific place, that will produce the most constructive result in the revelation of truth and or production of justice or correctness. Economic means the correct distribution of and or balance between all animals, persons, places, plants, things, etc. Economics, in a correct sense, is a sum total of all thought, speech, or action used to produce maximum efficiency in revealing truth in a manner that promotes the establishment of justice and correctness in all areas of activity. Economics also means using all things, thought, speech, or action with maximum efficiency with the objective of eliminating racism, white supremacy. Economics does not mean simply acquiring, saving, or spending money. Economics is not a tool of money. Money is a tool of economics. Economics is the result of people speaking and or acting effectively in a production of justice and correctness. It is not simply how money is handled that determines economics. It is a matter of how everything is handled and to what end. Economics pertains to how time and energy, how all time and all energy is used. In order for a person who is a victim of racism, white supremacy to practice economics, that person must speak and act to produce justice and correctness and the sum total of everything that he or she says or does. This includes the use of time and energy, the consumption of food or drink, sexual intercourse, and or thoughts of sexual intercourse, the use of music, and the manner of use of use of labor, etc. If racism, white supremacy is the greatest and most powerful force against the production of justice, balance between people, and if justice is necessary in order to produce peace, then there is reason to believe that it is the duty of every person in the known universe to use all of his or her time and energy each and every day to end racism so that justice and peace can be produced. During the existence of racism, this is the correct way to think of economics. Time and energy. At the end of each day, measure the value of your accomplishments only by how effective you were in saying and doing something that proved to be useful in helping to end white supremacy, racism, and or in helping produce justice, balance between people. As long as white supremacy exists, use all of your time and energy doing the following, and do not willfully make or maintain contact with other persons except for the following purposes: producing, producing, building, repairing, improving, and or cleaning those things that have a constructive value and using them for constructive purposes only. Studying, writing, asking questions, and or exchanging views with others about all aspects about how to eliminate racism and how to produce justice in all areas of activity. Economics, education. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex and war and counterwar. Eating and sleeping regularly, only as necessary. Engaging in sexual intercourse no more than 2 times every 7 days. And using a minimum amount of time and resources in association with such engagements. Explanation. These suggestions are 4 basic and correct ways for a victim of white supremacy to use his or her time and energy in a manner that is not too restrictive and at the same time economically constructive. If each victim of racism will limit all of his or her activities to no more than the aforementioned, most of his or her problems will be greatly minimized in a very short amount of time. Victims of racism who are serious about eliminating racism, white supremacy, and who are serious about producing justice cannot afford to engage in any activities other than the aforementioned. The voluntary and constructive use of time and energy by substantial numbers of the victims of racism would have a very damaging effect on the continued practice of racism, white supremacy. Racism would continue to exist for a while, but only with great difficulty. A great improvement in the production of justice would be immediately evident. At the same time, each victim of racism would quickly become a stronger and greatly improved person. Victims of racism would no longer with relative ease be sidetracked into and or burdened with activities that are at best useless rituals and or destructive fads. By using time and energy in accordance with the aforementioned suggestions, victims of racism would eliminate doing those non-constructive and mainly non-satisfying things that are usually a product of indoctrination and or long-standing habit, like drugs. Their overall function as constructively progressive persons would be greatly simplified. Thought, speech, and action would be healthier and characterized by less confusion, frustration, and clutter. The maintenance and refinement of racism depends greatly on the ability of the racists to keep their victims constantly engaged in a variety of activities that are wasteful of time and energy, and that are in other ways directly supportive of the continuation of racism. Therefore, each victim of racism should use all of his or her time and energy in a manner that results in the least amount of waste and frustration, while at the same time greatly improving his or her ability to counteract racism, white supremacy in all areas of activity, including economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, and counter war. Victims should at all times be engaged in one of the more aforementioned four interrelated uses of time and energy. As long as racism, white supremacy exists, no victim of racism should at any time be engaged in any other uses of time and energy. Important, at no time should any person seek the company of, make deliberate contact with, or voluntarily remain in the presence of other persons except for speaking and or acting in support of the 4-point economic format. So, should I keep going? The next stuff is really talking about employment and begging. Should I just go hard and just read the whole thing? Yeah, I'll read a little bit more. If you do not have constructive employment, or if you are without the things that you must have for constructive self-support, food, garments, shelter, etc., do one or more of the following, preferably in the following sequence. 1. Go wherever necessary to seek constructive, temporary shelter, housing, etc., from someone whom you believe can afford to provide you with constructive temporary shelter, a hut, a room, a tent, a shed, a cabin, a shack, etc. Go wherever necessary to seek constructive employment, job that will help you receive constructive support, food, garments, shelter, transportation, medicine, constructive information, etc. 3. Seek to make compensatory emergency investment requests, so-called begging or pleading, from white people who you have reason to believe can best afford to help you receive the most constructive support. This support should include information and other assistance that will help you to constructively support yourself. Notes: under no circumstance it is correct to rob or steal from anyone at any time for any so-called reason. It is correct to ask for what is needed if what is needed cannot be produced by the person asking. During the existence of white supremacy racism, and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, whenever a non-white person does in any area of activity is directly or indirectly a reaction to the white supremacy racism, usually in the form of a cry for help. During the existence of white supremacy, and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, if a non-white person asks a white person for money in order to do something of constructive value, that non-white person is not so-called begging. He or she is a business person making a compensatory investment request. This compensatory investment request should be regarded as a normal requirement in order to invest in the process of replacing the system of white supremacy with the system of justice, balance between people. I think that's important to read one more time. During the existence of white supremacy, and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, if a non-white person asks a white person for money in order to do something of constructive value, that non-white person is not so-called begging. He or she is a business person making a compensatory investment request. This compensatory investment request should be regarded as a normal requirement. Asking white people for money to do something constructive should be a normal requirement in economics, which Neely goes on to say is the use of time and energy. Should be regarded as a normal requirement in order to invest in the process of replacing the system of white supremacy, racism, with the system of justice, balance between people. So that's how much I'm going to go into it today. I think I'm gonna speak more in the begging terms tomorrow, or a different day. Happy Black History Month for all my melanated people. We are kissed by the sun. God has given us claim over existence and over our lives. We've been here first, so we are the blueprint. And you don't kill trees because they've been here first. You know, we just got to be constructive like the trees in the sky. Trees in the ground or the sun in the sky. And we just got to follow the code and do what we need to do. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel as well. I appreciate it. Like I said, I went over Neely Fullers' economics, the use of time and energy, and I will continue to move forward as long as God so wills it. So I appreciate all the love and support I'm getting from everyone. Just thank you guys, and that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. This is Black Vader, the Cole. God bless y'all. Peace.